Hi everyone, this is Sophie. I'm here to present our work, Climate Coach, a dashboard for open source maintainers to manage community dynamics. I conducted this work while I was a PhD at CMU, with a lot of help from my undergrad research assistants. Open source software is now ubiquitous, virtually powering all software we're using daily. It is considered as the digital infrastructure, roads and bridges. Just as our physical infrastructure that needs maintenance, open source software also needs constant supply of efforts to fix bugs, develop new features, etc. There has been tons of effort on studying how to build healthy open source communities and improve team dynamics. For example, researchers have studied toxic language, its taxonomy, its impact, and automatic detection. There is also a long string of publications on barriers open source contributors face. Many studies have focused on the turnover rates and the reasons. There are also works on the differences among contributors of different genders. Although we already have plenty of knowledge on building healthy open source communities, there have been very few interventions on community dynamics. Steinmacher and colleagues built a portal to help new contributors to overcome barriers. Guizzani and colleagues built a dashboard that can help maintainers manage newcomers and publicly recognize their contributions. Our study builds a dashboard that can be helpful for all levels of contributors, not just newcomers. Our study consists of 3 phases. We first conducted literature review and email interviews to inform our design. Then we designed and iteratively improved our dashboard. Lastly, we evaluated the effectiveness and usefulness with maintainers through a 2-week diary study. Let me briefly go over our first phase. Our study is inspired by the signaling theory. Signaling theory describes how a receiver who has less information on a signaler access the signaler's property based on visible cues. This is very relevant in the context of social coding platforms such as GitHub, the hub that hosts many open source software. This is a screenshot of a GitHub repository. We can infer this project's popularity, amount of activity, the most recent activity, and many other information about this project. This is a subset of signals we included in our dashboard. Many of these signals are found to be important to reflect a project's team dynamics and the health of the community. However, many of them are hard to be observed on the current UI design of some social coding platforms such as GitHub. For example, scholars found that fast response is important for attracting and retaining contributors, but people need to browse through several issues or pull requests to get a sense of how fast do maintainers reply. Toxic conversation was found to be negatively associated with project popularity and community health. However, it is hard for maintainers to monitor all conversations. Therefore, using some automatic tools would be helpful in this case. Based on the signals we identified, we started our design and iteratively improved it by conducting think aloud interviews with maintainers. Due to the time limit, I'll briefly go over the layout of the final version of our dashboard and then present the modifications we made between our initial and final design based on the feedback we received from maintainers. You can scan the QR code or visit the link for a demo. Our dashboard takes the format of a web page. At the top of the web page, we have a section to show users the overview of the dashboard, the goal, and what a healthy community means. Next, we present some basic stats on things such as team growth in terms of the number of new and active contributors, responsiveness, such as the average time taken to close issue discussions. Then we provide a list of links to conversations that might cause negative feelings among contributors, such as the ones that have been opened for too long or with too many comments. Then we show some trends of the signals to show that how has the project been doing in the past weeks or months. Are they getting better or worse? Then we report the level of toxicity in their conversations, with the help of an NLP tool developed by Google. Next are 2 bar charts of the labels used by the project to organize their issues and code submissions. The next section is a gamification feature. We compare the project with other similar projects along some metrics to provide the maintainers some benchmarks and also encourage them to do better than their peers. Lastly, we describe our methods and references. Now I will go over some of the big changes we made based on the feedback we received from the Think Aloud interviews. Initially, we made the dashboard as a GitHub issue. However, several maintainers told us that a GitHub issue can off-put maintainers because they feel like they have a goal of reading it and that a thing needs to be closed. Therefore, our second design takes the format of a web page. The web version also allows interactions and high-quality graphs as requested by an interviewee. Initially, we didn't include links to potentially problematic conversations. However, some maintainers noted that there are way too many conversations for them to keep track of, so we decided to identify conversations with higher priorities for attention. Per maintainer's request, we added a section on project's usage of labels. We provide bar charts to reflect the classification of labels so that maintainers can tell how many of them are bug reports and how many of them are enhancement requests. It's a nice way to organize their issues and code submissions. As the name Climate Coach suggested, one of our aims is to help maintainers improve their management strategies. Therefore, we added tips throughout the dashboard. Many of them are based on prior research findings. There are several important signals that we couldn't measure, such as having templates for issues and pull request submissions, the comprehensiveness of a README. We provide the information for maintainers to consider. Lastly, we added references as a future readings for maintainers. Now let me move on to the evaluation phase. During the 2-week diary study, we first give maintainers an initial survey asking about their background, their management strategies, and their confidence in building a healthy community. Then we ask them to use the dashboard at least once per week and fill out a survey. At the end, we ask them a similar set of questions on management and confidence again and see if there's any changes. Overall, we found that the dashboard that visualizes important signals are found to be useful by many maintainers. We also found that dashboard helped some of the maintainers become more confident in encouraging a healthy community. We found that our coaching strategy, providing tips, was successful since many maintainers pointed out that they were useful. For example, one of the maintainers decided to add a code of conduct. Some maintainers also like that we provide actionable items. There are several future directions this study can take. We are now working on incorporating some of our signals into other dashboards such as Chaos, which has been working on developing metrics for open source software and teams. We also hope that some of our signals can be integrated into some coding platforms UI, for example, become a part of GitHub's Project Insights page. To recap, we started from a rich literature on how to build an open source team and community. We then conducted a 3-phase study to design an intervention, the Climate Coach dashboard, to visualize many of the important signals identified by PowerWorks. Our field study, a 2-week diary study, demonstrates that visualizing hard-to-observe signals helps improve maintainers' management strategies. Thank you.